And now, young prince, we will discuss an introduction to formalized mathematics, as introduced by the great monk Tolo in his 3-part treatise on numbers and their I know you prefer the humanities, but trust me that mathematics and natural science are equally fascinating. Your father has entrusted your education to me, and I have sworn by Damacha to abide by his command. A common misconception. No, we Vorisans do not catch a light if we swear by the name of Damacha. I presume that was told to you by one of the guards. There are many misconceptions about Vorisans in the diarchy, as a result of our rarity and nocturnality. For instance, it is often said that Vorisans are grown through means of alchemy, rather than being born of a mother. Apparently, this explains the lack of a navel cavity. It is not clear where this misconception stems from, as Vorisans do in fact have navels. Indeed, Vorisans are born in quite the same way as any other human person. The veils? We wear these garments on our head not for any cultural purpose, but for a purely practical one. In Vorios, the sun's light is deadly to all, as punishment for the evil done to the land by the ancient philosopher kings. On our native continent, Vorisans simply stay indoors with heavy shutters during the day to avoid any contact with the light. As a result, Vorisans have adapted to become nocturnal. Here in Sakjat, the sun is far less dangerous. However, our nocturnal adaptation still makes sun exposure extremely uncomfortable, and even dangerous in the long term. Without protection, Vorisans will eventually go blind if we live in the light of the sun. But, as we are living among diurnals, certain professions and occasions necessitate going out in the light. These veils are specially made from the wings of Vorisan silk moths to protect us from the most dangerous rays of the sun. As they are so expensive, it is customary to adorn them in vibrant colors in line with Vorisan fashion tastes. However, unless working in public occupations, most Vorisans prefer to remain nocturnal. I must admit that even with my veil, the light shining in through the king's beautiful windows can be somewhat straining on my eyes. This separation from the rest of society results in isolation and rumors. It is likely this cultural chasm which has resulted in so many misconceptions, and rules in certain kingdoms prohibiting marriage between Vorisans and Simvites. Indeed, their reduced sexual dimorphism and disregard for Simvite clothing customs has disseminated the notion that Vorisans are neither man nor woman. Of course, this has not prevented such marriages from occurring regardless. Half Simvites are often the result, and you may have seen some yourself, although they are usually unable to have children of their own. This has largely prevented admixture of Simvites and Vorisans. How is it that we Vorisans come to Sakajat in the first place? There is no single answer to this question, but it is all too easy to accumulate great debt in Vorios, a chain which one cannot easily unshackle. To avoid a life of debt servitude, many Vorisans flee across the sea to the diarchy. This has become increasingly difficult, as debt trappers have caught on to this scheme, and often search vessels leaving Vorios for debtors. Despite these risks, this is likely how most Vorisans arrive here. Typically, they end up finding work as craftsmen or scribes. Me? No, I am not so foolish as to indebt myself to another. I came here of my own free will, to learn. I studied optics at a greatly respected institution, Corfalio University. I never enjoyed the smog or speed of Vorios, as it is a polluted and cold place. And so I took interest in Sakajat studies, a small field not taken seriously by most. Investigations are usually self-limited to the classics, the myths and epics of the Bronze and early Iron Ages. Modern Sakajat is seen as a backwater, unworthy of academic interest. For my dissertation, I aimed to dispel this notion. I bemoaned the lack of primary sources enough to travel across the ocean myself, to the other side of the Sun Tower. I quickly found myself more at home here, entertaining the courts of various nobles with optical wonders and my encyclopedic knowledge of this world. Though I was enchanted, I longed for true immersion. I was a novelty from another world rather than a part of this one. Years later, I made my way to this kingdom, Kanajat, and to the throne of your father. He was not merely entertained by my lore, but truly respected my faculties and craft. This would not have kept his interest, if not for my deep and genuine love for tradition, a rare quality in Vorisans. It was this that inspired him to hire me as your tutor. Speaking of which, Tolo, mathematics. Young prince, you have skillfully deceived me into speaking about the humanities. For shame.